In this video, I'm going to talk to you about cheap lenses for DSLR live streaming. You know what? There's quite a few options out there, and you'll be impressed at how cheap it can be. You don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on it. I'm going to show you a few examples. So it's a 28 to 90mm lens. It's something that is nice, small, light, portable, and it's a Canon EF lens, which means it fits on both models of camera, like the crop sensor and the full frame. Just then I had it on the 5D Mark II. So this is one lens. I'm going to call it a cheap lens for DSLR live streaming because you can actually pick it up quite cheap. You know what? How cheap? So right now on eBay, you can pick up this lens for between 40 and 50 pounds. Here's an example of one very similar condition to the one I've got here, and it's at $39.95. It's a 28 to 90mm, so you'll get a nice wide view on it. I'm going to actually show you a clip of this camera lens exactly where you're seeing right now. So what you've got now is a 50mm lens, which is a 1.4. That's another cheap lens, but it's not that cheap. This is like 50 quid. That's probably 190 pounds. But that gives you a nice background blur. So when I change this over now, let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this is how the 28 to 90mm lens looks like on the wide view. The 28 to 90 is now set on 50mm. So it should be giving us the same view as my 50mm I was using a little while ago, which is the 1.4. Okay, now this is the same lens, similar lighting setup, but I've zoomed in to 70mm. Same location, ISO 800, because I know that it's going to be f5.6 now, not f4 anymore. So the background's not as blurry, but now this is 90mm, so I've zoomed in fully. So it'll be an extreme close-up, but it's not bad for video work. I need to raise my ISO because it's a bit darker now. Okay, so you can see with this view, the 28mm, you see a lot more, and it's a different view, but for live streaming it's perfectly fine. So that means this lens you've got is going to give you some versatility for live streaming. So if you were to spend that kind of money, you know what, there's a few other options because you might not have a DSLR. How about looking at a DSLR? The camera I'm using now is a 550D. It's an old camera, but it lets you live stream. You can pick up for $134.95 on eBay. Between 130 160 pounds they're going for, depending on condition. You've got everything you would need: the body and the charger and the battery. You can get an adapter which lets you power it for longer. That's something I'll link you to in the videos. And you can actually live stream with it, because I did a video explaining how to live stream with your camera, and I proved it worked. There's a separate video showing you how to make your DSLR into a webcam, and I also made a few videos about buying a DSLR for different budgets. So you'll see I've got one there, £100, £200, £300. This camera falls within that, so you can see if you don't have a DSLR, it might be worth picking up a DSLR. Lenses wise, this lens I'm showing you actually falls in the £50 to £100 budget. But if it's not a lens you want to buy because it's too old, look at those videos that I linked to you to check out for different options, because I've covered about 5 or 6 different lenses in each of those videos to help you get a lens for live streaming, because everybody needs to live stream right now. So you want to make sure that you get something that will get your job done, but at a fair price. I don't want you spending like hundreds of pounds unnecessarily, because I've got some lenses up here. There. Okay, so you can see I've got a few lenses that I use that are Pro Series lenses, but you know what? You don't have to spend loads of money on them. The 50mm 1.4 up here is what I'm using up there. This is a 24 to 70 for my majority of my work, because it covers every angle, and then for far distance 70 to 200. But those are really expensive lenses. You don't need expensive. You need something that will get the job done and get you streaming. If you can't get hold of action cameras, which is another option for live streaming, pick up a cheap DSLR, pick up a lens, and get the Canon software. I'll link you to a few videos that show you how to sort that out in part of a live streaming with your DSLR video. But for cheap lenses, you can pick up a great lens for £50. That will give you a good view, and you would have seen how that looked and how it performs. So I'm hoping this video helps you. I'll link you to a few more videos that you can check out as part of this live streaming episode.